Patrick Hurt and Jameson Wilcockson here with Kentucky American Seeds and Patriot Ag. And we're out here today at our Central Research Farm, which is just outside of Madisonville, Kentucky. And we wanted to talk about early season corn and really getting your corn plant off to a good start. So part of that is a fertility program and a good in-furrow and planter fertilizer placed right next to the row program. But also a big part of that can be up treatments and over treatments. And Jameson, since you're over our seed treatment division, you want to talk a little bit about our up treatment on corn?
Yeah. So the up treatment that we use on corn is Corn Complete. That's our product, and it's a multi-mode of action product. So why that's important is we see that work on cool years, we see that work on warm years, and that kind of is one of the questions that we get most on a year like this year. We got out to the fields later than usual. Most of the corn was planted towards the middle of May, and guys ask, hey, do I still need a product like Corn Complete when planting conditions are warm and we're later on than we typically are? The answer to that is yes. So what we've seen this year comparatively to, say, a cool year, on cool years we see more plants up in the first wave, say 10 to 12,000 more plants up in the first wave than the check. This year we saw closer to 6,000 plants up in the first wave, but being a multi-mode of action product, having the hormones, the nutrition, the energy source, as well as the biofungicide, we see benefits to the shoot growth and the root growth, which also plays into some of the things that Patrick's going to talk about with fertility. Being able to access those sooner, getting a good, even emergence and a good head start.
Okay, so really when we're talking about this early plant growth, especially in corn, we want to talk about it is almost like a relay race, okay? If you think about a relay race, one runner hands off the baton to the other runner. So that's what we're trying to do. And if you really understand the agronomy and plant physiology, it kind of makes sense how we're passing the baton. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about root development. We do have three treatments here, but we want to talk a little bit about, before we talk about the treatments, about just plant physiology. So corn plant has two different root systems, okay? The seminal root system, which is basically connected right here to the seed. That is the seed. This is the radicle that come out, which is the first seminal roots, and you can see some of the lateral seminal roots coming off that. This is really a young seedling root system. It's designed to be able to pull in water, and it will pull in nutrition that is right there around the seed. So for example, the energy and the nutrition that Jameson was just talking about in the up treatment, it's able to access that. In-furrow fertility, it's able to access that, but it's not really going to go out here and just pull a lot of your soil fertility just all out from the middle of the row, okay? So as you transition up from the seed, you go up the mesocotyl, and here you can see where your nodal roots start to be developed, okay? This is the main root system of this corn plant, and that's what really pulls in the 2x0, the wide drop applications, 2x2 applications, anything that's placed next to the row, okay, over to the side. These nodal roots really pull in, and they'll pull in the majority of all the nutrients that this plant takes up within its life, okay? So as you look at it, the seed has energy, we just gave it more energy, and then we applied nutrition right there around the seed, and then that handed the baton off to the in-furrow fertility. Then that handed the baton off to the fertility that's placed 2x0. And so that's kind of what we look at, and it starts to create an exponential response, which is what we're looking at here. So this first treatment, okay, this is no Corn Complete, no starter, and in this situation we're talking about starter is in furrow fertility, okay? And then no 2x0. 2x0 is basically the same thing as 2x2, but instead of 2 inches over and 2 inches down, it's 2 inches over and placed right on top of the ground, okay? And that's how we applied it here. So it didn't have any planter fertility on this treatment and no Corn Complete up treatment. Move over, you can see we had a in-furrow starter, and then we also had convoy 2x0. Huge difference. We moved from 38 grams, that's these four plants weighed 38 grams, moved over to these four plants weighing 102 grams. So a huge difference. Why? We had in-furrow fertility, boom, and then the in-furrow fertility was able to get over to the 2x0 fertility and gave us that exponential response. But look at where, when we added Corn Complete to the equation, okay? That's the up treatment that Jameson was just talking about. So hormones that help promote root development and help promote above ground growth, energy, nutrition. So that is the first runner in the race. Then it hands the baton off to the in-furrow starter. And then it hands off the baton to the 2x0. And then if we make wide drop applications later in the season, you can hand the baton off there. So that's really what you start getting an exponential responses, which is what you're seeing. This is more than just bigger plants and more biomass. These plants are able to get more fertility into the plant faster, which leads to bigger roots, which can pull in more fertility, which leads to a bigger plant that can pull in more sunlight, that then they just feeds a bigger root system. And then that cycle starts, and then these plants can never catch back up. So as it's going through those physiological stages, deciding how many rows around, the number of kernels in a row, grain fill, those type of things, you've got a healthier plant with a bigger root system that has more energy. And that's really what we're talking about, Jameson, when we're talking about getting the plants off to a good start. And so a lot of times we think starter and maybe that's just it, or we think 2x2 or 2x0 and that's it. But really, a balance of the up treatment, the in-furrow starter, the 2x0, in a combination in a program approach really is the best equation to get your plants off to a good start. So we're going to keep you informed with what's going on here at the Central Research Station, as well as our other plots as we progress through the season. And just stay tuned, and we appreciate your business. Thanks.